welcome back. Or I guess maybe not welcome back to you guys, but welcome back to me. Um, it's the Slushy Film podcast. It's been a hot minute, or a couple months, as some would say. But we are back after a long hiatus from myself, and I'll tell you why in a little bit. We're back for the Slushy Film podcast, all things movies and television, and we're going through a little bit of a rebrand, and I have some other stuff to talk about with you guys. So, hey, let's jump right on into it. Look, I think it's only right to say that I am sorry. That's the first thing I'm going to say. Like, I'm super, super sorry to all the listeners out there, whether you're listening on Spotify, watching on YouTube, or just checking out any short form content on TikTok. I apologize for all of that. Unfortunately, we did take a hiatus, as you can see. It wasn't because of the world of film and television. It was for some other reasons, and I'm gonna kind of jump into those here in a second. But what's most important is we are back. I am back. The podcast is back, and I'm really, really excited for it. We are in the heart of what I like to say movie season here in the summer. And I'm recording this episode only a few days before The Odyssey comes out in theaters. So really excited about that. There's other films coming out this year that I'm really excited for. And then, of course, I'm going to kind of recap some of the stuff I've seen, because even though I haven't been doing any of the podcasts, of course, we've been watching plenty of movies and TV shows. So let's jump right into why I was out, why we were not recording these, you didn't see me on TikTok, Spotify, YouTube, all that kind of stuff. Unfortunately, I ran into a full-time thing of what we call burnout. I don't know if that's I'm not trying to make excuses. Working a full-time job was super, super busy in the spring, and I just did not have time to be able to get through a full recorded episode like I'm doing right now, and then editing that episode, putting that out on Spotify and YouTube, and then, of course, creating some of the short-form TikToks with the podcast. And my thought is, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this to the best of my abilities, and I'm going to put 100% effort in. And I realized I was getting to a point where I felt like it was becoming more of a chore than something that was fun. And that's not fun, because I love talking about this stuff. And so I'm like, all right, let's completely take a pause. Let's reset. Let's rethink what I want this to look like. The TikTok is still a thing. And there will still be some short form stuff related to the podcast on there, like of me talking like right now, but also the video podcast will continue on YouTube, and then we'll continue with the audio only on Spotify. It just takes a lot of editing from me. I'm a one-man team. This is a one-man show. I love doing it. I love talking about the world of film and television, but I ran into a time where I was just drained. And it really necessarily didn't even have to fully do with this show specifically, and it had to do with just working 40 hours plus a week, and then just life. And so I wanted to make sure I had weekly episodes, and it was just becoming too much. And if I'm not going to put my best foot forward, then I don't want to do this. I don't want to give 50% and put out like half good episodes, I guess you could say. But all that to say, we're back, better than ever. A little bit of a change to what I'll be talking about. I mean, obviously, we're still talking about film. We're still talking about television. New logo as well. So if you see this if you're listening on Spotify, if you see this on YouTube, or if you see anything on TikTok, then you'll notice that the logo has changed, which I'm really excited about. Same color scheme, just a lot more detail to the logo, and so I'm really excited about that. But also, look, I noticed that like the podcast was becoming way too critical, and I was kind of trying to build some of my thoughts and some of my opinions based on some podcasts I listened to. I won't name them, of course, for copyright reasons, but like I realized I was just becoming way too critical of film and television, and that's not me. That's never going to be me. I am somebody that wants to sit here and talk to you guys about a film or a show or multiples of those because of how much I enjoyed it or how much people are enjoying it. Of course, I want to talk about like if a movie's terrible, of course I want to talk about like why is it not great? Or if a movie's great, I want to talk about like why it's great. But also, if I go to the theater, if I watch a movie at home and I love it, I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about why I love it, right? Even if it's not maybe critically acclaimed. And I realized I was trying to be way more like a critic and a lot less like just a fan of film and television. So that's what this podcast is going to now start focusing on, is just my pure enjoyment, my opinions. I'm not going to go crazy on the details of how things are shot, how the cinematography looks, how the CGI looks. Of course, if there's major things, then I'll bring that up. For example, like all the trailers from the Odyssey, for example, the camera work, cinematography looks just incredible. It's Christopher Nolan. That's what we have come to expect with him. Of course, when I do a review on the Odyssey, I'm sure I'll mention something about that, but that won't be the only thing I talk about. So really excited to get this back up and running. I love the world of film. I love the world of television. There's been some really good stuff come out this year, which I'm going to talk about here in a little bit, but also I feel like it hasn't been a great year. So why don't we just get going? Because you don't even know what this episode's about. I mean, you do if you read the title, but if you're just listening and you didn't read the title, you actually don't know what this is about. So this episode, we're going to jump into my top 5 projects of the year. Film, television combined, not 5 movies, not 5 shows. We have a combination of both. Of course, I'm doing honorable mentions, so I have actually 7, and that is without some films coming out that I'm really excited about. And so, but first, couple updates real quick. What I'm watching and what is out. House of the Dragon Season 3 is my number 1 right now. The first few episodes have been fantastic. I've enjoyed them so much, especially coming off of a very, very disappointing end to Season 2. Season 3 started out super, super strong. I've seen the first 3 episodes when I'm recording this. The 4th episode is out. I just have not watched it yet. But the first 2 episodes were great. The 3rd episode was very good. And this is already a better season than Season 2, and I'm very, very excited about where they're going to take this for the rest of the season. So House of the Dragon Season 3, big hit on HBO Max, and it's living up to the expectations for me. So I'm very much enjoying that. Another television show is Spider Noir over on Amazon Prime. Nicolas Cage as Spider Noir. So I am on episode 3 or 4 of that right now. You can watch it in 2 versions, black and white or color. I would recommend the black and white. I'm very much enjoying it in black and white. I go to color occasionally, depending on certain scenes. If we get fight scenes or something, I'll go over to the color version. But I've been watching it mostly in black and white, and it is very, very good. I kind of know where we're heading, but of course, only being a few episodes in, there's still a lot to uncover and a lot to watch. So Spider Noir, Amazon Prime, I've very much enjoyed that so far. I would recommend that to anybody who would be comic fans, I guess. It's really, really good. The other thing, haven't watched it. Supergirl bombed. James Gunn's DC took a major hit with Supergirl coming out here in theaters, and people are just not liking it. I have not seen it, so I'm not going to just sit here and dog it. But just based on box office alone, money made alone, or I guess one would say money lost alone, it sounds like that's a very, very disappointing movie for what's only the second movie. I mean, the first movie since James Gunn's Superman last summer, and that puts a real damper, I think, on the hype around the DC universe, or James Gunn's DC universe. And of course, while I'm also talking kind of DC, I mean, not kind of, it is DC related, kind of James Gunn's universe related, kind of not really. Batman Part 2 with Robert Pattinson and Matt Reeves has been delayed yet again from October 2027 to February 2028, I want to say. So that's just got pushed back again, and that's too bad. So in the other world of comics, Spider-Man's coming out in a few weeks from when I'm recording this. I hope that's really good. And then Avengers Doomsday in December. And so the world of the comic book superhero films is definitely taking a hit. And I don't really know what to expect going forward. People just aren't going to the theaters to watch those as much. And there's some other categories of film that people are liking more. And so I can't really say what those are because I'm about to talk about them in my segment of the top 5 projects. So let's get into top 5 projects of the year. Look, I'm really excited. There's been some crazy surprises in my book, and I'm going to start with my honorable mentions. First is a TV show, A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, HBO Max Game of Thrones spinoff series. If you know me, you know how much I enjoy the world of Game of Thrones, and so of course this is something that I was excited for, but not nearly as excited for House of the Dragon Season 3. And I thought Night of the Seven Kingdoms was great. And Season 2 is supposed to be coming out next February, about the same time that Season 1 dropped the year prior. And I think it's a great show. I think it starts off maybe a little slow, but really picks up pace and has some fantastic middle episodes. I would highly recommend A Night of the Seven Kingdoms. Not very long episodes either. Super good. Let's jump over to movies. Another honorable mention, Kane Parsons' Backrooms. I knew nothing about the YouTube stuff with Kane Parsons. I just went into Backrooms because it was recommended to me, and I really enjoyed it. I'm not a horror movie guy. This isn't necessarily horror. But you definitely sit in that theater getting a vibe that something's going to pop out on screen the whole time you're watching, and no spoilers, so I won't say anything else to that. But I will say that movie, I really, really enjoyed that movie. I thought it was really, really good. However, it definitely does not crack my top 5, but I thought it was worth mentioning because it's another A24 project that is just making money. Smaller budget, I think $10 million budget, and it's made, I want to say, $300 million maybe? So A24 is really figuring out, what that formula looks like. So Backrooms and Night of the Seven Kingdoms are my honorable mentions. Let's go 5-1, or you want to go 1-5? Well, let's go 5-1. 5 is Steven Spielberg's Disclosure Day. Just saw that in theaters a couple weeks ago. I really enjoyed that. Sci-fi. I wouldn't say it was an epic, but a sci-fi film by Steven Spielberg. I believe he wrote it too and directed it. I really, really enjoyed that. Maybe the best acting performance I've seen this year, outside of maybe one other person, was Emily Blunt. She was great. Maybe one or two other people. It was a really good movie. I enjoyed it. I think it's getting some love and some not so much love. But that was a movie that I would highly, highly recommend as well. Maybe not in theaters if you don't want to pay for the ticket. Maybe just wait till it comes out. But any Steven Spielberg film, I think people need to give it a chance. That's the first Steven Spielberg film I've seen in the movie theaters. That's another reason why I went to a Disclosure Day as well. So that was really, really good, but that is number 5. Number 4, TV show, Apple TV, Widow's Bay. Surprise of the year for me, television-wise. Wow, was it good. It was so good. Acting was great. Story was great. I loved the balance of comedy with like the unnerving feel that you get with Widow's Bay. And I loved that the season ended with more of cliffhanger than real answers, really promoting a season 2. So Widow's Bay was super, super good. If you have not seen Widow's Bay on Apple TV, that would be like the number one recommendation show-wise from 2026 because it was fantastic. So Widow's Bay on Apple TV. 3, also another show, but Star Wars guy, so people should probably know this was coming, was Maul Shadow Lord, the animated series that Disney dropped a couple months ago, and whoa. Darth Maul, one of my favorite Star Wars characters. If you know me, you know that. I have a Lego of him, like a massive Lego on my wall of him. Great character, and that show was a banger. The last 2 episodes were just peak Star Wars television. I won't tell you why you need to watch the show, but maybe the best character of all time in film makes an appearance and has some moments and is extraordinary. And so that's all I'll say to that. But Maul's a great character as well. And if you are any type of a Star Wars fan, you need to watch Maul Shadow Lord because it is that good. So 10 episodes on Disney Plus, really well done. With all that to say, though, Star Wars has to figure it out in the film world. They came out with Mando and Grogu this year. Didn't love it. Whatever. Just felt like another TV show. They need to hit on Star Wars Starfighter with Ryan Gosling, directed by Sean Levy, that comes out spring 27. So, look, we'll see. But Maul Shadow Lord was a great Star Wars project. I very much enjoyed it. But I need like a successful live-action film from Star Wars. So that was number 3. Number 2, by far, out of nowhere, left field. I think most people know this is probably coming. Obsession. Wow, was Obsession good. Whoa. That's not my vibe movie-wise. I went to that in theaters, and I walked out of that, and I said, outside of like my number 1 film from the year, that is the best thing I've seen so far. It was, $750,000 budget, and it's grossed almost $400 million. I mean, it's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. It is such a good movie. It is creepy, but there's just like this feeling that like you resonate with this film, and it is super well acted. It's really well directed, and you're just on the edge of your seat the whole time, and it is fantastic. I mean, it's made $399 million. I mean, that's just, it is so good. It is, if you have not seen Obsession, I think it's actually still in theaters, so definitely go see it. But I will tell you this right now, it is by far the surprise of the year. I think that there's a world where the actress, Indy, I forget her last name is really hard to say, so I'm not going to butcher it right now. But I will say this, that she deserves a nomination for Best Actress. She was fantastic. That's a, if even if you're not big into like the quote unquote horror, which I would argue there's maybe one or two jump scares in that whole movie, everybody needs to see this movie. It's that good. And I mean, this is a reason why you go to the theater, right? I mean, a movie comes out of nowhere. Now, word of mouth, people are like, wow, this movie's really good. You should probably go see this. Now it's made 400 million, and it's still having a theatrical run because they're still making money. I mean, it's a recipe for success. Well done to Obsession. Fantastic movie. Surprise of the year. My number 2. Only because my number 1 is the blockbuster hit Project Hail Mary that came out in March, starring Ryan Gosling. Whoa. Visually stunning, storytelling tight, acting brilliant. I mean, Ryan Gosling is on his own in this film as an actor, except for a few flashback scenes. He is pretty much on his own 80 to 85% of this film when it comes to an actor and a character, and he nails it from the very first scene. Ryan Gosling is unbelievably good in this. I think he deserves a nomination for this. I don't know how you could not. I don't know how you could tell me 5 better, at least right now in July, which I know we still have half the year to go. But Project Hail Mary is probably a borderline Best Picture film. Came out in March, which by the time you get to the Oscar nominations, it's 2 and 10 months. But that does not mean we should dismiss Project Hail Mary, because it is that good. Visually, cinematography-wise, it is stunning. Sound design is amazing. Also, it's just an enjoyable movie to watch. It's an emotional movie to watch. And seeing that in theaters was a real treat. And people, I wish, could all have seen that in theaters. If you have not seen that movie, once that drops on streaming services, because I don't know if it has yet. I don't think it has. Once it has dropped on streaming services, you have to watch that movie. I mean, turn the lights off, turn the volume up, and just sit back and enjoy it, because it is such an enjoyable film. And Ryan Gosling's a lot of the reason for that. Of course, Rocky is another huge reason for that as well. And it is kind of an emotional roller coaster. I had not read the book, but it's the book is by the same author that wrote The Martian, the movie that was turned into a movie by Ridley Scott starring Matt Damon, which is another great film, by the way. But Project Hail Mary is my hit of the year. I haven't seen The Odyssey yet. My guess is The Odyssey will be number 1 after I see The Odyssey, right? But Project Hail Mary, wow. I mean, are you kidding me? Like, shout out to everybody on that project, including Ryan Gosling, because it was just fantastic. So, Disclosure Day, Widow's Bay, Mall, Shadow Lord, Obsession, and Project Hail Mary, my 5 best projects of the year in 2026. Of course, that will definitely change, because if I had to guess, The Odyssey will go in there. If Spider-Man's good, Spider-Man will go in there. And then we have like Dune Part 3 in December, if that hits, which the trailer just dropped for that. Like, the big trailer just dropped for that. I think I got goosebumps watching it. That alone could put Dune Part 3 in my top 5. So, but for now, that's my top 5, and it's a great list. House of the Dragon will probably go in there once that show's over. But look, we're having a great time. Like, we're picking up with film and television. You know, like I said, I think it has been kind of a down year, but overall, I think we are picking up. And I mentioned a few things for what's coming out right in the future. Like, obviously, The Odyssey, few weeks. Dune Part 3, 6 months. Spider-Man, few weeks. There's this new movie out, though, that is getting a bunch of love, and it's Olivia Wilde's The Invite, and people are loving The Invite. I don't know what it's about. I don't know anything about it. I haven't even seen like ratings or anything on it, but I have heard that it is fantastic. I'm going in 2 days from when I'm recording this, and I will definitely bring it up when we talk, or when I talk on the podcast about The Invite, because I think it's worth mentioning. And from what everybody's been saying, I've even had somebody tell me it's the best movie they've seen this year. So The Invite's something I'm looking forward to as well. And I tell you what, we are just hitting a great stride in film, and I hope it continues. So when I originally started this podcast, the goal was 20 minutes. I found myself getting like 40-minute episodes out there. Why? Don't know. But I will say that it's time to go back to that 20-minute mark, and that is where we are right now. I have my phone out because it's recording my audio, as we can see, and my mic keeps like, I think, cutting in and out. So I'm super nervous what this is going to look like when it happens again. So I'm just literally talking right now, waiting for my mic to do that. And of course, now it's not doing it when I show you guys what's going on. But right now it says it's working, so I think that's all that matters. So, look, that was my top 5 favorite projects of the year. Super exciting time in film, like I've been talking about. And the podcast is back. Like, how exciting is that? Like, the podcast is back. We are back. Hopefully, I just slow my roll, take my time, and have some fun doing this. So, look, I appreciate you all listening, watching. Thanks for sticking with me. Sorry it's been a few months, like I said, and content's going to be dropping. So I'm really, really excited. Slushy Film is back. Hopefully you like the new logo as well. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time.